Breaking news that's coming in the electoral bonds case. The State Bank of India has now filed a compliance affidavit wherein they have declared that 22,217 bonds purchased between 2019 and 2024 have in fact been redeemed in the same period. So they have furbished this information. This is the latest that we are getting to you as far as the electoral bonds case is concerned. Remember, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the State Bank of India, ensuring that there is compliance as far as disclosure of all bond data is concerned with immediate effect. The SBI had complied within the court-mandated deadline yesterday and now has released this affidavit. Sunil Prabhu joins us with all the very latest. Sunil, break it down for us.
Well, as requested by the Supreme Court, the Chairman Managing Director of the State Bank of India has filed his compliance report before the Supreme Court registry at shortly around 12:15, wherein he has given the full details from 2019 till date, all those bonds that have been filed and explaining which have been redeemed, which have not been. So that's a complete statement from the State Bank of India, as well as their letter to the Election Commission, which was submitted last evening, which we were able to report had been submitted. So in compliance with that, and now, of course, an entire country waits with bated breath to see those details of which all, corporates in terms of companies, in terms of people who bought electoral bonds and submitted it to the government of India, to various political parties. So it's in that context that the State Bank of India has filed its compliance report.
Right. Sunil, we also have Mr. Mohammad Amin, ex-Joint Director of the Election Commission, joining us. But before I go to him, quick clarification from you. Do we have information at the moment that the data that has in fact been released is co-relatable, where the donor can be linked with the recipient of the bonds?
No, it isn't, and it was not even required, and that was not what such Supreme Court had asked for in the first place. So that's very clear. It's simple and straight. Why it is not required to be correlated? Because that data itself is a wealth of information. It's a data mine. Which are shell companies? Who are the ones who were probed? Which are the ones who got government projects and contracts? There is a lot of data which you can decipher from that KYC and really link it to various political parties. So don't be worried about that at all. I mean, I think the most important aspect is that this data is now becoming public. It's been also held that these bonds were unconstitutional, and ultimately the people of this country will be able to decide what exactly is the truth and ahead of the Lok Sabha polls.
All right. So the data will be made available, and linking the donor and the recipient is something like Sunil has explained, which is something which is not mandated by the Supreme Court, and will take perhaps finer data analysis over a period of time to be able to, look into what the donor amounts and what the recipient amounts have been, and who the donor and recipient, what the donor-recipient relationship is, and establish any quid pro quo at all. Mohammad Amin, ex-Joint Director of the Election Commission, joining us. Your first reaction, the SBI there filing a compliance affidavit, all the data they say is now available with the Election Commission.
I'm sincere thanks to SBI, who was directed by the Supreme Court of India to deposit all the information what they had to the Election Commission. Earlier, they were asking for the time for 30th June. But the top of the country's Supreme Court, he has refused to take his application, and he has dismissed, and he has asked the bank, you go and deposit today. It means day after tomorrow. So they have deposited after next day up to 5 o'clock, and after that, the 15th evening, asked the Election Commission to put in the website of the Election Commission of India for the public domain. So this is very good decision by the bank also, and the good decision by the Supreme Court of India. And this is for the the money is from the public side. All public money is used where, so public must know about the information about where the money goes. So, and who has given and who has taken. So this is very clear cut, crystal clear. Actually, the lacuna was this policy was good, but finance policy was good, but What happened in between? They hide the information. Even they are not privy to under control of the RTI. So they refused for the RTI information. That's why the court was annoyed of that. Public money must know about the public, and this in public domain now. So everybody has to see and welcome what is that, and the public has to decide what he has for the elections or anything or any information about that. They know.
All right. Well, the SBI there has submitted a compliance affidavit abiding by the Supreme Court deadline yesterday. The SBI had submitted all the data by that 5:30 p.m. deadline to the Election Commission. The ball is now in the Election Commission's court. Remember, the Election Commission of India has also been given a deadline by the Supreme Court. That deadline expires on the 15th of March at 5 p.m., which is Friday. So all eyes will be on the Election Commission making that data public. As Sunil has explained to us, it wasn't mandated by the court that the bond amount and the redeemer of the bond, in fact, can actually be linked according to the data that has been provided. So a fair bit of data analysis will also have to be done in order to be able to understand the finer nuances of the data. But it is going to be made public in a matter of 2 days, and that, of course, is a big development and something that the court has been lauded for. We're going to have to leave it at that for now.